stock sock bussin'? You finna find out.
How's it going? If you got any questions about anything, feel free to let me know. I'll try to answer it as best I can.
The heck is this thing? It's like a sports bra for my AR-15?
Yeah, so this is actually the stock sock. This was designed by our friend Sam Houston. It's a more elegant way to attach mission essential items, whatever you deem necessary, to your rifle. So whether that be a tourniquet and a chem light like I have here, or if you really like Mountain Dew, just kidding, that doesn't say Mountain Dew. You got me there.
You can't read. Maybe you need some glasses.
But so we have these windows to allow for access to QD mounts, and it still allows for traditional function of the buttstock, but it allows you to carry, something that you deem necessary that could help you later on in the future.
Cool. Now, let me ask you this. Is it going to affect my ability to get my nose to charging handle?
Hey guys, so one of the most common questions that we get about the stock sock is it going to affect my cheek weld when shooting in awkward or unconventional positions? We have our very own Sam Houston here from Warrior Poet Society and Green Line Tactical Training. Sam Houston you were actually named after one of the great Texans, Sam Houston, is that right?
That's right, Stuart, I was.
Okay, yeah, no. So why didn't you make it in Texas? Why'd you have to move to Florida?
Warrants.
Oh, okay.
I got warrants.
That makes sense. All right, so what we're gonna have Sam do is take us through a couple unconventional shooting positions with our tactical Kia back there and just show you guys how the stock sock doesn't interfere.
What he said. So Steven is a mutant and was born a lefty, so this is gonna be a little bit opposite of what I would do, but you may need to learn how to shoot left-handed, something might happen. But basically, his mutant ass is gonna drop down and get behind the vehicle and shoot over the top of it. This position is referred to as junkyard prone. It was evolved out of vehicle fighting, so in order to shoot over cars without going straight vertical with the gun, because car hoods generally have contours, and just because your sight is clear does not mean your muzzle's clear. This way ensures that if your sight is clear, unless you bounce it into a hood ornament or something, your muzzle's going to be clear. So your mechanical offset is kind of nulled out as far as striking things you don't want to. But basically, Steven's going to approach the vehicle, and instead of dropping in like a hard landing on a helicopter, he wants to glide into position, kind of like a plane setting down on a runway. But he's going to side gun, and I like to grab the optic if I can as a reference point. I will push the gun out as far as I need to, and that's going to be in user dependent. Guys with LPVOs, eye relief issues are going to be a thing. Red dots, not so much. So this is where the red dot really shines in these unconventional shooting positions. But once he's got a clear front sight and a good sight picture, he's going to disengage his safety, place his finger on the trigger, and do what he does. So obviously, the further out you are from the target, you need to account for that 45 or 90 degree shift and aim high to the magazine side, depending on which way you have the gun tilted over. But that's pretty simple. Steven, go ahead, stand back up. This time when you approach, go ahead and drop down into the position, disengage the safety, and give me 5 rounds on target as fast and as accurate as you can do it.
All right.
Go ahead. Or 4 rounds if you miss.
Well, you said 5 rounds. You didn't say 5 hits. You didn't say 5 hits.
You're right. I didn't say 5 impacts, but that was implied.
Oh,
but,
well, you should say that.
The world is your oyster. It's
Thank
like Bob Ross, like happy mistakes. So no more happy mistakes.
Okay.
Go ahead and drop in. Give me 5 impacts on steel.
See?
There we go. Yep.
Words mean things.
I have to be literal with you. Or 4. Again, Whatever you want to do. You f it up, you own it. If you're wrong, stay wrong. High five.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, yep. Here we go. It's like we were playing with fireworks on 4th of July. All right, guys. The next one is the next unconventional shooting position is called, well, it depends on the school you train under, but you'll hear it referred to as fetal prone, inverted kneeling, or the industry standard broke back prone. Pretty soon you'll see why we call it broke back prone. But what's going to happen is, well, the context behind this is you're trying to conform to some piece of cover and generally shoot underneath a vehicle or some low barricade, but generally a vehicle. So Steven's going to basically drop down to a double kneeling position. The thing with this position is if you were to have an imaginary line coming off this vehicle tire, that's the last place he can be before he exposes his body. You want to get your knees up to that line. Any further back, you may overextend yourself, and then you're kind of like basically on all fours. So get your knees up as close as possible. Break your support hand off the gun in preparation for dropping into that position. One thing that I like to do, this is just a technique thing that I do, I like to pin my magazine in the crook of my elbow, and then I will drive my firing side elbow between my knees to basically my crotch. I mean, not into my crotch, it'll be on the ground. But basically I'm holding the gun kind of like this, and I'm pronating my hand or supinating my hand on the ground. And that allows me to track left, right with my gun, or raise and lower, elevate the business end of the gun, depending on the elevation of the target. But he's going to roll in, and it looks awkward, but if he keeps his buttstock in his shoulder pocket, he should be able to get a good sight picture on that target. Now, assuming he has a clear muzzle, because he is going to have to account for that car tire on the other side, he should be able to deliver some effective rounds on whichever target he chooses. I don't care which one he shoots, but go ahead, stand back up, Steven.
How'd that one come out?
Go ahead and slowly lower yourself into that position. And on the way down, prep that support hand for supporting the gun. All right. Yep. Assuming he keeps his ejection port clear because he's a mutant, go ahead and finger on the trigger, weapon off safe, and deliver an effective shot on the steel. Good. Give me 5 hits on steel. All right, and recover. Cool. Hey, boys and girls. Next position is going to be urban prone. You can shoot urban prone, firing side shoulder, support shoulder, doesn't matter. You can shoot it right side on the ground or left side on the ground. It doesn't really matter. It is for you to get your gun generally over something, like think of like a curb or something along those lines, but it could be underneath a vehicle as well. But Steven is going to demonstrate it by going left side down and shooting low to the ground. One thing that, because he's a mutant, doesn't have to worry about is his ejection port getting fouled or impeding the cycle of function with the gun, which I guess is an advantage of being a lefty. Everything else in life is just harder for him. It looks freaky deaky, weird, but basically, if he's got a clear sight picture and his muzzle's clear, he's going to disengage his safety, place his finger on the trigger, and deliver 1 effective round on steel. Cool. Give me 5 effective rounds on steel. Oh. Good Lord, man. Which one of your 2 dads thought you had to reload a gun?
You were never there.
Yeah, no. Not bad, not bad. Really good, Steven, really good. Let's give him a round of applause, folks. But that's urban prone. At any time, were you impeded or fighting your gear as far as the stock sock was concerned?
No, not the stock sock, just everything else.
It really, it's, because it does have a little give and play to it. If you do bump into it, it's just gonna bump down or up or back or forward, and it's going to kind of conform to you. It's not going to impede you or the cycle of the gun, for that matter. So that's cool. Anyway, we'll go into something else here in a second. All right, guys, next one is gonna be bilateral shooting, which is a fancy way of saying bumping shoulders, shooting off the, you know, the support shoulder or the firing shoulder, just switching shoulders. So what Steven's going to do, he is going to basically start on his primary shoulder and he's gonna bump over to his other shoulder and go ahead, switch his hands. He'll C-clamp on the pillar of the vehicle. He will disengage his safety, placing his finger on the trigger and delivering 1 effective round on steel. Good. All right, safety on. Bump back shoulders. All right, cool. Do it again and give me 5 impacts on steel. Cool. Easy peasy. Stock sock remained in place. No problems. Nothing more to say about that.
All right, guys, as you can see, the stock sock didn't impede my ability to engage the targets. Only my skills as a shooter was able to do that. But if you guys are curious to check out more about the stock socks and all the color options, be sure to head over to bluealphabelts.com.
Hey, thanks, Stefan, for that awesome closeout.
Yes,
but yeah,
and thank you for Sam coming out to help us with this video and, you know, impart some of his knowledge onto us.
And if you guys want to give back to a good cause, buy a couple of stock socks. We're trying to get Steven a mall.
I have not a mall.
A mall, not a mall,
Oh,
a mall.
Yeah.
So there's that. And if you're serious about training and want to come train, look me up at Green Line Tactical or Warrior Poet Society. Either of those places, we're all running stock socks and we're all doing a wide variety of training from, you know, pistol rifle stuff to, you know, night vision and shooting out of helicopters. So, you know, have gun will travel is kind of our motto.
All right, and just remember, it's not the heat, it's the humidity that'll get you.
100%.
Yep. Thanks, Georgia.